Some of these sections are going to be interesting tomorrow in the rain. It was dead still last night, but it got breezy sometime in the middle of the night. Seems to have quieted down a little. My tent was getting knocked around pretty good while I was drinking coffee. I'm just finishing up my edits and then I'm going to pack. I got a big day ahead of me today. I have been hearing dogs again off in the direction I'm headed. I'm not really strongly anti-hunter or anything exactly, but it is kind of a bummer just because seeing, bear, moose, etc. is such a cool experience. It's always a little sad to see them like I did yesterday on the back of some truck, just a corpse. Sure does feel a little bit cooler this morning. Per what I was told yesterday, there is a cold front coming in with a storm that's going to hit sometime tonight, I think. As of this morning, I am only 30 miles from Reliance. That is where my resupply box is waiting for me. Normally, that would not be a concern at all. I'm right within the window, 15 a day. The X factors here is I am low on food, so I have to get there tomorrow. They close at 5 p.m., so I've got to get there, early afternoon. And also sometime tonight / tomorrow, there is a thunderstorm / cold front coming in, which may make things a little bit messier. Trail has been getting a little brushier with these berry brambles, but the big climbs are less and less, and then towards the end of the day, it is a little flatter. The thing I have either for me or against me, depending how you look at it, is there is a 17-mile dry section here. So in about 2 miles, I've got the last reliable water source as near as I can tell. I am going to fill up there, drink as much as I can. I have already drank all my camp water kind of in preparation. And then I'll carry my usual, 2.5, which is the maximum capacity I have hard-sided. I also have a CNOC, but I don't like carrying that filled if I don't have to. And try and push through that by the end of the day. Anything past the next water source at the end of that is just kind of bonus to get me into Reliance a little bit early. And then after Reliance, I don't know what those birds are that keep flying around. They make a ton of noise though. After Reliance, the food carries are shorter. Blue Ridge is the town stop I'm going to make, which will be a bigger town. I have heard that it's a little brushier, but nothing too bad, or nothing undoable, I should say. And then once I get to Springer, there are some evolving complications there. I thought I had a pickup whenever I finished. Now the ride I had arranged may not be available until the 28th, and if things go, well, / I make the mileage I have been recently, I may be there a little early, which I wouldn't mind a day or two off necessarily, but that is contingent on finding an affordable hotel, and that has been really difficult this season. I mean, hotel prices in general have gone up, and in Vermont they were all expensive. Certain areas are just expensive, but we'll see. I could stay at Amicalola. I never did get to stay there. I never did the approach trail. I just walked to Springer, and then somebody gave me a ride into town, and then I walked on. So it would be kind of cool to see that, or else I guess I can try and hitch or get a shuttle to some nearby town. The economics of keeping this weird existence Jen and I have going are a challenge at the best of times. And with rising prices and all the medical bills and the continuing stuff, because now I've got a tooth implant I'm going to have to get, it's causing me a lot of stress if I think about it. We are just very fortunate that Jen loves her job and that she is a teacher in California. I have been kind of amazed. We were looking at potentially, relocating our home base, but there's a lot of places where teacher benefits are much lower, pay's much lower, you're treated a lot worse. I mean, heck, in some places, not only would she be working her ass off, I mean, I wouldn't say working harder because she works very hard as is, but she would have to do a lot of, other things like monitor the cafeteria, or there's a lot of weird things certain areas make teachers do versus, actually getting to work hard at teaching. But I really don't want her to go someplace where she's not in a supportive environment. I mean, there are certain states where you're not paid much, your benefits are constantly being threatened, and you are basically the enemy/whipping boy of certain people in the political sphere. And coming out of IT, I have worked plenty of jobs where I felt unappreciated, is probably the nicest way to put it. And I don't want that for her. I don't want the kind of light in her eyes every time she talks about teaching and about the students and this and that to ever go out, if at all possible. So unfortunately, as much as I don't care for the crowds or the traffic noise or the cost of living, we probably are not getting out of Southern California anytime soon as far as the off-trail home base. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of really good things about being out there. I mean, the weather is pretty much the best in the country. We have the best mountain range in the country, Sierra Nevada. We have a scuba diving destination in, Laguna Beach, Catalina, the kelp forests. So, lots of pluses. Still, there is uncertainty pretty much everywhere these days, and I feel very fortunate for the existence that Jen and I have kind of come to over the last 5 or 6 years. Trail-wise, things have been pretty nice yesterday. Once I got out of that area around Hangover to Wig, all the constant toilet paper scattered everywhere seems to have faded out, which is a relief. I guess that must just be a busy, short trip area. And I have seen a lot of evidence of trail maintenance. You can see in the far out comments, the organization behind this trail obviously spends a good amount of time sending crews out with whatever resources they have, which is always impressive when you get onto these smaller trails. So my mileage has been ramping up more to where I want it to be, 18 to low 20s is kind of where I want to be hiking, which is, pretty good for this time of year, considering the shorter days. It's basically not even light till 7:30, and then it gets dark at 7, and that is shrinking rapidly. I do feel like I've been holding up reasonably well, at least so far. The harder I push, the more I tend to get issues that seemingly come out of nowhere, and it can be a struggle to mitigate: chafing, foot stuff, yada yada. And part of me always feels like, hey, I've walked across the country how many times? I should be better at this. But things just come on out of nowhere, and it doesn't help. Older you get, the slower you recover. I keep checking and rechecking my map in a paranoid fashion because if I blow past this off-trail spring, I'm gonna have a problem. There were 2 marginal sources. The guy yesterday made it sound like he had gotten some water out of this house. All the comments I was able to see on that, it's the remains of some old house. All the comments I was able to see said they had trouble finding it, they had trouble getting water out of it, and honestly, it's only in a handful of miles. I think this water source is at 149 and that house is at 153, and I need to make it 166 southbound. So I figure I'm better off just filling here and going for it. I will say, even with my cold weather sleeping bag and stuff, at the moment, my pack feels like a feather. Little food, no water. Okay, hopefully this water source is flowing, because otherwise I am screwed. Okay, it's Might take a little while, but this will work. I stopped carrying any sort of electrolyte powder a couple of years ago. I found I got plenty of salt from food, so it wasn't really needed. Plus, it's expensive. So I carried this, and the main thing is it makes it easier to get more water down, because I find my problems more come from not lack of salt, but just not being able to drink enough. And for whatever reason, the Crystal Light lemonade and fruit punch is enough where I can chug, 1.5 liters or more at a time. Kind of thought maybe I was going to have a cloudy morning this morning. Wind was just tearing through camp right before dawn. My actual kind of like water needs, water consumption during the day is something that's really hard to quantify since it varies so much depending on weather. If it's cold, I can go, on a lot less versus in Kansas, we were drinking gallons every day. I would get to water and I would drink 3 liters like straight out some of the times when we were in Kansas. In general, I just find the more I drink, the better I feel. For a while, I was just feeling awful when I was peak bagging, and I finally figured out if I just chugged a liter at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, that was helping. I was basically getting out of those trips dehydrated, and yeah. But again, it's hard to force yourself to drink water, especially when it's cold and windy. Okay, a little more way down. Time to do this thing. Okay, 10 miles down, 9-ish to go. So my easy miles are done for the day, since the first 10 usually hurts less than the second 10. I was also able to get word to Reliance, so they know I am showing up tomorrow. I just wanted to make sure so they didn't end up closing early and I get there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with no food and I'm just sobbing outside of a closed store. There is also a special weather statement that is coming into effect for this area until 2 a.m. Sunday. Apparently has to do with that storm/cold front that's coming in. There's a John Muir Trail out here. I've been going through a massive number of webs this afternoon, to the point where I've started just holding my sticks forward or waving them around to catch most of them. Got tired of chasing spiders out of my hair. Well, welcome to the East Coast John Muir Trail, apparently. Well, that was fun. about 20 miles by a little after 5 o'clock. Some minor to moderate shin bleeding due to vegetation. And I'm a bit beat, but it's all good. I'm going to see how close I can get to Reliance so I can have an easier day tomorrow in the storm. I have been looking forward to this part though. I'm going to be down by the Hiwassee River. I still have about 10 miles to my resupply, so hopefully I can put another 4 or 5 mile dent in that if everything holds up. So that gentleman just tore up here. Apparently he has 2 missing hunting dogs up the hill somewhere. So he's up looking for him with a GPS device. So I am pretty beat. Came 20 miles already. However, I am not inclined to stop too early here, especially with tomorrow apparently being potentially heavy rain. There is a water source in about 3 more miles, and it looks like there are some camping options around there. I do need to make sure I'm relatively safe because there may be some winds tonight. Granted, some of these trees you see pulled up, they bring the entire root system and everything, so can't always tell. On the plus side, my resupply is only 10 miles away from right here, so I'm no longer worried about potentially having a night without a dinner. Unfortunately, my other dinner is the other Mountain House Backpackers Pantry sort of meal. And that one last night, the chicken with green chili thing was pretty awful, like most of them are. I am really looking forward to getting back to beans and rice once I get the box tomorrow night. I was also able to get a little bit of reception up top. Heck, I think that is the best reception I've had since I started this particular trail. And Jen and I made a couple of plans for coming up. She is going to mail me a box with a couple of things to the trail angel that is going to ferry me from Springer to the Foothill Trail. So I can at least start out with, bean bags, things like that, which is appreciated because it looks like I'm just going to have to carry the entire way there. Didn't look like there was much in the way of resupply anyway. Come on, knees. Okay, seems like some of the campsites at least are high and dry, so I do believe I'm going to fill up here. This is Lost Creek. Interestingly enough, it got noticeably warmer and more humid all of a sudden. And then while I was filtering water there, I actually ended up with a bunch of these big damn mosquitoes on me in October. That did make the prospect of camping back there at Lost Creek a little less appealing. Really wasn't expecting to run into mosquitoes still this late. Didn't think I was that far south. So it is about an hour until headlamp time. I'm just gonna play it by ear, try and find a place I like that is seemingly secure in the event the wind gets crazy. So again, as you can see down there, sometimes the trees just seem to fall over. Well, this was going good. Really a bummer I don't have more of a view of the river. It's spectacular down there. Some of these sections are going to be Interesting. Tomorrow in the rain. Well, crap. I'm not going to use this one. There's a dead tree right above it. In retrospect, maybe I should have stayed at Lost Creek, but oh well. There'll be something eventually. Ouch. So unfortunately, the last two marked tent sites back here were a no-go for safety or just not usable ground anymore post blowdown issues. I have been looking for dispersed options. Haven't found anything I'm real happy with yet. So yeah, this is what I get for pushing on this late, I guess. Okay, not the most ideal camp, but I feel pretty good about it as far as down trees. And I'm pretty beat. See, I'm wimpy. It's only 8 o'clock. But I did do 23 miles and change today, so feeling pretty good about that. I only have, I think, 6 more miles to get to the resupply. And it looked like I joined a road pretty quick, so we'll see. Maybe that section will be easier. That section since Lost Creek certainly wasn't. Especially at one point I had one of those ankle breaker kind of twists happen. Seemed to be okay though. Anyway, home sweet home. Reliance and resupply tomorrow.